Okay, so let's start from somewhere. So first topic of the day, our TAs are back there. If you have any issues, then go and take a session with them. So they can solve all and any of your problems. Also, if you're listening to the lecture from somewhere, from the distance, then please, and now is the time. They are here and free, so ask any questions if you are on the distance. Then ask any questions. First task always is put your project up in Git. So don't ask any questions if your code is not in the Git. We cannot. We need to see it, what is going on there, and then contact the TAs, and they will answer your questions. And I had, if I remember correctly, you already remind me, one bigger task we were supposed to look at today was how to run multiple instances of the game brain or game in the web context, so we can actually support like thousands of parallel ingoing or ongoing games. Then we also had, which has been a question a few times. So let me write it down more exactly. Okay, it actually is written here. You can see JSON files, save games and configuration have to be supported also from web application. So console and web server will share these. Yeah. User can select in the beginning what database is correct. Database solution to use. JSON files or DB. So you don't need to like download files or upload files or anything like that. So basically, it's just a question of is everything based on the JSON files or is everything based on the database currently? And you don't need to do them in parallel, like at the same time. So if you save the game, you don't need to save it at the database and at the other JSON file at the same time. So they don't need to be in sync. So basically, just user can just select in the beginning somewhere that I want to use a database-based solution or I want to use the JSON file-based solution. But both of those have to be supported. Nick, see vastab küsimusele. Siin ma tegelikult oli see kirjas homework 5 juures. Nagu rakenduses kui sellises. Vahet ei ole, kus ta seda teeb. Okay, then let's do the thing. Game brain demo. Let's take this one. Okay, and I'll try to probably do a more. I have more time now, so I can do a more realistic thing. So let me start from the scratch. Okay, so let's start. I'll do everything quickly, and I started from scratch with a little bit more better game than the rock, paper, scissors. Like rock, paper, scissors is a little bit too simple, and there are just two moves, so it's kind of like, and then it's game over already. So it's kind of like hard to do anything correctly. So it's tic-tac-toe. So tic-tac-toe is like this. So it's a two-dimensional matrix. So I can keep it in the array, some kind of either in the jagged array or then in the two-dimensional array that I need to convert into the jagged one if I want to serialize it into the JSON. So okay, there are what are the possible states I can have? So there's an empty, the X, the O, and then in theory somebody can win something like this. So basically there's X, so it can be either this, or this, and so those are my states. So it's either it's empty, it's X or O, and then it's possible if I want to draw it, then I also need to know that has somebody already won the game. So somehow I need to visualize it like with pen and paper, we draw a line like this, that you have won the game. Somehow I need to visualize it on the console and on the web also. Basically empty square cannot have this condition, but X and O's can have. So I don't know, let's call it some kind of has line. True or false. I think this is it, what I have. So square can be empty, it can have a X, it can have an O or cross and circle, and plus when the game is over, then it has line or this victory line like condition on top of it. Okay. Shall I do the console application also? No? Yes. No. Of course. So this is a little bit tricky in that sense, but this is what you had to do. The problem is with the scaffolding and with the freaking entity framework scaffold problem that the models cannot be anywhere else than inside the web application itself. But this doesn't matter much. Okay, so let's do. So let's try to initially correctly, and then we need to move stuff around a little bit to get it more correctly. So let's make a game brain. So let's do a record. Let's call it a struct. Type isn't there. This is public struct record. Public record class. This way. Okay, struct was here. So this is a square state, and it has an enum. So square state has two elements. One, the second one is the bool has line, but the first one is an enum, so and I need that one also. So this is what what's the first what's the first element of the state, the cross or O or nothing. So it has what like let's call it, I know, E move. So it has states like empty, cross, circle. Yeah? Did I spoke with you about the records? I think I did when we spoke about C#10, yeah, and .NET 6. So it's just a like shorter way how to declare a class with just properties or struct just properties. So and previously it used to be just a class. Now we can also do this record struct. Default is a record class, so it's always like a class with properties, just in case, or just for out of the fun, I made it as a struct. So it's a value type, not a reference type. Okay, so let's add another one here. Let's call it the brain. So this one is a class. So what does my brain need? I need to keep track of my board. So if I can kind of like look at the end of the book. So I know that I need to serialize it into the JSON. To make it easier to serialize into the JSON, I can use jagged arrays. That's what JSON has. So JSON doesn't have two dimensionals. So private, let's call it maybe read only. Game board is what new. What should it be? Square state array. And actually has to be how was it declared? Like this? Square state. Yep, like this, I think, if I remember correctly. And this is our game board. What else do I need? I need to support what player A and player B, and those can be of both types, either computer or human. Yeah. Let's add another enum. Let's say human AI. Let's call it computer. Nicer to look at. So how does our game start with? I need what? When I initialize the game brain, let's start from somewhere. E player type player 1. Okay, and I need to initialize the game board also. Okay, can I do it like this? I think yes. And then I need to initialize the, if this is which way you wanted, X by Y, yes? X first and Y is the second in your world. So this is the X and the second dimension is the Y. So I need to do a for loop here. So I can just use game board length because I only have one dimension, so I don't need to do it over several dimensions. And I will just create new ones. So it will be a jagged array of 3 by 3. So what else do I need? When I initialize the new game, let's take the simplest case. I have human against a human, and somebody needs to now make a move, basically, and go somewhere. So let's say E player type 1. So somebody has to use the X's and somebody has to use the, I can rename it a little bit. Let's do it. It's player type X and this is the player type O. No, that's the O. I can use those. And then I have to keep a track who made the previous move. Private E player type. Previous move by, let's say it's initially, I know. I say something like this. Okay, this is this is a static context, so I can or next move by or whatever I want to keep it here. So okay, next move will be better. So X will always start in our simple case. So now I need to do what? Make a move. So it's an int x, int y. And somehow I need to make how to keep track of or what have you done? How do you keep track of who is making the move? Like by the number? Or I mean, like player something like what's the parameter here? So I have two players. So the first and the second. So the X or the O. How can I keep what is the parameter here? Which player it is? There is a number.
You can use the next move by
like yeah, but what's the the public parameter here? I need a data type somehow, so I can use it like true false X or like okay let's be more nice about it and let's make an enum. So it's an e player. Let's call it symbol. So we have just two. Basically, it's a boolean. I can say it like true, false. It's exactly the same. Okay, and this will be something like e move status. So what's the possible return types? So what are the possible return types? What can happen? That can happen. First one is not possible. Okay, let's say first one is just a move. So it went okay. Okay, maybe it's even nice like move ok. So then it's not possible, and then it's move game over lose, and move game over win. Maybe like this. Like possible outcomes, what can happen if you make a move? You can kind of like make a wrong move. You cannot do that one. Its square is already taken. And then you can just make a move and nothing happens. And then the third possibility is that the game is over, and then you either have won or lost. So it seems that this should be come out from here. So return move status dot, let's say typically is move ok. So let's check if our game board x y move, if this one equals to the something empty, let's say this way, if it doesn't equal to the empty, move is not possible. So you cannot go there, it's taken. And move is over with that one. Okay, if there is possibility to go there, then game board XY move equals to the something. And now it's either a circle or cross. And then it depends on the player. So then it's a circle, and in the other case, it's E move cross. And now I need to check that can I actually is the game over? If I want to make it the calculations for it a little bit easier, I can do probably this. I think would be nice. Square state is E move. So I can better make it like this. So cross is equal to the -1, empty is equal to the 0, and circle is equal to 1. So now I can do like calculations a little bit better. Like if I add 3 squares together, if it's -3, then cross has 1. If it's something else, then it's no win condition on that row. And if it's +3, then the circle has 1. So I can do a little bit easier mathematics on it. And so basically now I need to check that has somebody won, is game over. And there are possible what? Oh no, E move status can be also move game over tie, and there's actually like 3 statuses. Okay, so basically I can make a move, and now I need to check because I need to return this E move status. I need to check that A, is it over? And B, if it is over, which way is it over? So let's make a function for it here. I don't know, let's do it initial as a private. Get board status. And now I need to figure out which one has 1. So how can I do it? So I have what? Let me. I have this diagonal. I have this diagonal. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I think yes. And whenever the board and only one of those can be true. Like only one line can happen at one time. There cannot be like 2 winning lines at the same time. So that's impossible. So and okay, and plus I have this like emptiness, and then the possible lines. So the final one is probably E move status move ok. So nothing extraordinary happened, and now I need to calculate it. Let's see, check. So I have 6 ways how to do it. So let's make diagonals first. So this is the move. do I have to do it like this? And let's see, how many castings do I have to do here? If sum equals see on decimali, no. So which one was the minus? No. E-move status, no. Where was it? Score state, no. E-move. So cross is -1. Okay, I can do this. Yep. Doesn't matter which one, or sum equals 3. I don't need to check who actually won. That's not important here. Somebody has won. Because if you call this get board status from make a move, here I know which player made the last move. And that's the only possible winner. So there's no other way. Otherwise, the win will be there already previously. Okay, then I have the other diagonal. So this one starts, if this is the x, then the x is 3. Then this will be a 2, and this will be a 1. And the y will stay, no, sorry, it's a 2, 1, and 0. I hope like this. And now I need to check all those, all the other options. So let's make an index. The upper is 3. I can hard code here. This the y is also 3. No, that's the 2-dimensional. I think this is it. 2 diagonals, which are the special cases, and then x from 0 to 2 and y from 0 to 2. First by the x's and then by the, I know. Hold on. X is 0. And then I go down and check the, yep, I need one more cycle. And here it's the other way. Y, and here it is the x, x. Hopefully this is okay. Is this okay? Who knows? X0 first, second, third row, and then I go by the Y0. Yes. What else do I need here? Maybe a new game. Public. Reset. Oh no, let's do those when I need those. Now I need also visualize the board. So this means I need this game board copy if I want to do it nicely. Although let's say that I'm not planning to do anything bad. So initially I can do just a quick and dirty. Public get board, which will return this square state. And what else do I need? I need a public string get brain state JSON maybe. And public void restore brain state. Initially nothing. Okay, can I now make a console? Hopefully. Or better, I will not add a console. Let's leave it that one to the end. So console is quite simple actually. Like that one you should already know how to make. And there is like no heavy questions what to do there. But does the game brain make a sense? More or less, I hope. Like we need to test it in practice. That doesn't really work. So I haven't run a single line of code yet. But hopefully something is there. So now we need get brain state JSON is probably needed. And now the question is, do I need like a full state with the next move by, or will I keep this one somewhere in the database? Plus the player types. What's here? Can be converted to the. Okay, make a move. All right, I need to do this. If the move was possible, okay, I didn't finish here. So let's do this. If the move is now made, so that will be the next move by. And now we can actually, we need to check this status here. So we made the move onto the board. And now let's get the status. And it is actually already move status, so we can just return it. And in theory, okay, let's see here. If that one has one, okay, one win condition, we need to check for the tie also, that the board is full and there is nowhere else to go. So game over, basically, which is like the most common case actually. So before we send back this move ok, we also need to check that nothing doing. So basically we need to do this. Let's make sum equal to the null. And sum equals. Actually, I don't need to do this one even. So I can just iterate over the stuff here, and if game board x y move, if this one equals empty, then we know that the game is not over. No, actually, that's the other way. Move ok is default. No, I still need to count those. Yep, can't do it like this. So I need to go to the x, to the y, to the move. If this is circle, then add 1, and else if this is across, no, then also add 1, and the other case add 0. So if sum equals 9, if we have all squares filled up, then game over tie. So there was 9 elements altogether, x and those on the board, no empty spaces. So game over tie. Or if this is, I can actually still write it a little bit better. Damn it. That's the other way around actually. If I do this, if game board x, y dot move, if this one equals to the empty, return. That's easier way how to do it. And the other way, this means that I can get rid of that one. And this one means that move over game over tie. So that's a better way how to control it. So is there a win condition? No, there isn't a win condition. Is there at least one empty square? As soon as you see the one empty square and nobody has won, then it's just regular move, nothing happened. Keep playing. And if you didn't find a single empty place to go, then it means that it's game over and it's tie. Because there was no win condition, no empty place to go anymore. So game over, no winner. So it's tie. Should be this. Board status. And now we can just return this. Okay, and now we need to figure out this get brain state JSON and restore brain state from JSON somewhere. Okay, now we can move over to our web application. So I have my game brain, I have my game board, I have my logic more or less there. Okay, I need to figure out how to make an artificial intelligence out of it. But at least something is already here. So let's figure out how do I keep my database? JSON, yeah, that's for sure. That's kind of like easiest. When I load a game, what has to be like? I'm trying now to explain you the thought process. Like, what do you typically do? How do you design your database? Like, there's two ways how to think about it. Like, one way is like you're super good and you can do like everything abstractly in your head. The other way how to think about it is like you can what is most typical, what happens every day, or what happens with most of the customers is they can only think in the terms of UI. So if you draw up the UI, you can visualize it from the UI that, hey, I need this and those data elements on this view and on that way, okay, and then you can abstract away what the database is like. So in the case of tic-tac-toe, what shall I see if I open up the list of games? Like I want to load the game or like make a new game or like load the list of games. What do I see there in the list of games?
Words.
Like let's and then I can figure out from that. What's the database. So what can I see if I go to the load game? What can I say? Let's say I have player 1 for player 2. It's like, let's say it's name and type is listed here. So it's like human with a name or computer with some other weird name or something like that. So, okay, basically I need 2 players with the names. Then I need probably some kind of like last saved. So this is some kind of datetime is here. What else? Do I keep track of like finished games, like game over or not, can be continued? So let's say then there is something like status, which is something like probably like this, like view or continue. Like this, yeah? So if it's game over, then I can click just to the view. Okay, then I need to figure out, do I want to do the undos and stuff like that? Can I like take the moves back? But this is like totally different topic. And if the game is not finished, then I want to continue. Okay, so this gives me that I need 2 tables, at least I can see. So I have the, if I want to do the history also probably, because your homework spoke about the history. So I need to first describe the game with the player types, player names, and then somewhere I need to give of this when it was last saved. And then I need to figure out what's the latest status of the game somewhere. And then I have somewhere here, have the history, the states. Okay. Since now I want to scaffold a little bit, so let's make inside the web application this thing. So I need my domain, I need my data access layer. So I copy from my previous game brain. What did we do here? So my connection strings. So this is my tic-tac-toe. Then I need to set up the database in the dependency injection stuff. Then I also need my, I don't have any database yet at all installed, so I need to install something. And I think this is it what I need for the databases. So let's see, what do I need here? Yep, SQL Server, everything should be okay. And now I need my app.db context. Where is my old app.db context? I need this constructor here. And this one needs to derive from the DB context. Okay. So I just copied from the previous solution. So there's nothing new here. So the necessary packages I need for the scaffolding and database support. Then the dependency injection stuff, that the database connection is registered into the container, plus this add database developer page exception filter thingy. So that one we copied out of the scaffolded solution. And then the DB context itself. So it's just a class has to derive from the DB context, and for the scaffolding to work and for the web application to work, it has this dependency injection based options thing where we get what kind of database engine to use, and the connection string is already configured here. So now I need to design my domain, what I will actually keep in the database. So I have what basically I have two tables, seems to be, like at least initially. Like I have the save games and then the save game states or something like that, like games and states. So let's call it maybe a save game. And the other one I need is, let's say, I don't know, let's call it something like state history. So I need the primary key ID or the save game ID, whichever way you like initially. Then I have what player 1 name and player 2 name, yeah? Okay, let's go to the player X name. And if those are named like this, player X and player O name, then I already have the X and O's fixed here, which one is which. And then I need just the types. So this is this E player type. So this is the player X type. And this is the player O type. What else do I need? I need this last saved. And then I need some kind of like status. Yep, we can just save the status here, which is this. Basically, it can be a copy of this emove status. Like if the status is move ok or move or not possible, the last one, then it's still, you can still continue the game. And if it's not that, then it's one of those game overs for whatever reasons. Or I can make like generic, probably it's better as the boolean. Maybe bool, let's say game over. What's the difference? Domain objects and between what? DTOs. We will speak about it a lot in the next semester. Like there we do like bunch loads of DTOs, but there's like huge question, and this is point of architecture. So DTO is basically data transfer object. Yeah, it's the acronym. Domain object is an object that your application is about. Like this is what your application is about, what you're doing. Data transfer object is basically just an object that you use to transfer data. We can say that the domain object is the data transfer object when we speak with the database, because they just happen to match one-to-one. So basically, you can make a DTO, which is a copy of domain object, and ask from the database. For example, when we get into the more complex stuff, you can arrive at the situation that you have already existing database when you start. And your domain object will actually be just a subset of what is there in the database. For example, when you look like something like web shop, you have like, let's say, an invoice. You don't need all the data, what is there on one single invoice. So you can finish up with something like this, that you make one huge domain object that is a copy of what you have as an invoice in the database. And then when you start to move data around in your database or in your application, you don't always need the full data set. You don't want to get everything. You want to get just a subset of the data. So then you switch over to the DTOs, that you start to ask from the database that please give me something from the invoice table, but don't give me the full data set, don't give me everything, just map the data into this specific DTO. And there is only like, so customer name and invoice amount, and this is it. I don't need any like invoice lines and addresses and stuff like that. So that's the kind of like philosophical difference. In the technical sense, there is no difference. I mean, they're just C# objects or whatever language objects. So, but the main, like say, the main idea is that the domain object is kind of like, what is my business about, what I'm dealing with, like I know customer, contact, invoice, those things. And DTOs are just data transfer objects. You're moving data from one place to next place, either from database to the application, from application to the web UI, from the web UI or from the web API controller to the customer somewhere, or into some kind of information system, next one. So then you just transfer either a subset of data, or more likely you are transferring not just a subset of data, but some kind of like weird combination of data. for example, our view models, what we have, even if you do the Razor pages, Razor page basically is a view model. Yeah, it's a model for the page we are rendering. It's already weird combination of like various things. You have like your drop-down data, like you have several drop-downs. Then you have like a few things you bind into the web forms. So you already have like collected together several different items to display on the page. So then we call those view models, but actually this is also data transfer object. But if you know that this data transfer object is used in the view, then we call this DTO, we call it a view model. And if we know that this data transfer object is like what is our business is about, then we call it a domain. But basically they are all like DTOs. We are moving data from one place to the next place. So there is no hard rule that which one is more correct than the other one. But you will get the hang of it on the next semester. The distributed applications development, you have like DTOs galore. Plus you need to version them because your API will change over the time. Like you need to support your old clients, the client who started to use your system 1 year ago. Now you modified your domain objects. Now you want to return a different data. Old client tells to you that go to hell. I have a contract with you. You have to keep up the old system also. Now you get like 2 different customer versions in your system, or let's say 2 different invoice versions. So you need to do like copies of those DTOs, like invoice version 1 DTO, invoice version 2 DTO. Plus you need to keep up the endpoints and all the other stuff for that. So it's it gets complicated. So basically, programming is about juggling and how many of those balls you can keep in air at the same time. That's the kind of like you need to do like bunch of abstractions, and then you need to keep all those abstractions like moving in there at the same time. And you need to like keep in mind that if you change something in this corner, what will happen in that corner somewhere else. And do not drop any balls. And basically the difference, if I think about it, difference between the, let's say the architects or senior developers is that how many balls can I keep in the air at the same time? How effectively I can do it and how fast. So if I can juggle like 2 times more balls in the air than you can juggle, then I'm probably like 4 times more effective than you are. So I can keep all, let's say, all the 50 balls at the time in the air at the same time and move around with those. If you can do only 25, but you need to still move the 50 balls around. So you first move the first half of 25 balls of the 50 balls or 25 that you can keep up in the air, and then you need to go back, grab the other 25, and start to juggle with those and move those over to the new location. So you have to do like 2 trips or even more, and figure out how all those balls are interconnected. If you can keep them all in the air at the same time, you can do it in the one go. So it's your brain capacity and how many pieces can you keep in your brain at the same time, basically decides how effective developer you are. Because actually the language itself is quite simple. Like programming is simple. Like technically, I can teach anybody in 1 day fully. Like what is there? A little bit object-oriented, if, for, blah, 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 standard things, and this is it. I'm not doing anything actually new here, what you haven't seen or kind of like shouldn't understand like immediately. But you will do it like slowly, and you need to think and figure out. I had practiced for 20-something 5 years, and for me it's like it's easy. Like I can see how the balls will move in my head. I know where my hands should go all the time. And it, let's say, there's like in any sports or in any like thing you do, there is no talent. Let's say there's almost no talent. 0.5% is maybe a talent on it. It's just training, nothing else. It's just hours and hours and hours and hours of time I've spent here. It takes about 10,000 hours to be efficient in the world kind of class. So think when will your 10,000 hours be done? how much time it will take. I mean, in calendar. What do you think?
8 years.
Yep, something like that. Plus, it's kind of like standardized number nowadays that to get really efficient and really good in some kind of profession, doesn't matter which one it is it programming, hockey, basketball, whatever else. Like if you are not invalid, you have legs, then you can run. So if you are, let's say, at least you're capable of doing it. So then it takes about 10,000 hours to get efficient in something in, let's say, you're not world champion yet, but you are, let's say, world class, you're professional. And if you think that you want to change your profession or you want to start with new sport or with new hobby, whatever you're doing, then the easiest calculation is this, 10,000 hours, 10 years. So then it sees 1,000 hours a year divided by the days in year. It basically 3 hours a day, every day for 10 years. Is to get good at something. Doesn't matter which one it is. And typically the graphic goes like this, which means that here you are like 4 years old. You go with your mother or father. You go into your first, I don't know, piano lesson. It's one time a week, 45 minutes, or ballet or whatever else you're doing. And then when you get here, this is the, let's say, the university level, before your examinations, then it's 7 times a week times 14 hours a day. And then you graduate, then you're ready, or something like this. Depends. So if you're already kind of like adult and you think that I need to change my profession, then you need to figure out who will pay for it. Where do you get this time from? And the correlation between this 10,000 hours is really, really strong. So, but this is kind of like philosophy. So you can be totally sure, for example, if you go to the, let's say, Olympic Games, take all the runners in the, let's say, 100 meter, all the runners in the Olympic Summer Games, yeah, in 100 meters. There was what, 64 of those or something like that, or maybe even more. So they have the preheats and semifinals and finals and whatever, like quite a few runs. So let's say there's 64. You can be totally sure that there wasn't a single runner in that bunch of 64 who has run less than or trained less than 10,000 hours. And if you go into the final, then the final, and then the freaking winner, then the winner, this one had this 0.5% of talent more than the rest of the field. Like, and then it was like 0.00 seconds, like win margin. Everything else is just training. So just takes practice, nothing else. And one more thing I can say from my own personal experience, even nowadays, there is no motivation. There's just discipline. You have to discipline yourself to do something again and again and again. Today 3 hours, tomorrow 3 hours, 3 hours, 6 hours, now 8 hours, now more and more, and I rise up in the morning and I do it again and again and again. It's interesting in the beginning, like you have motivation, it's nice, I want to program, it's cool, I can do this or that trick, and oh, I get this result, and then it gets boring. But you are on your, like, I don't know, 1,000 hours yet. You need 9,000 hours more to do. So, and then it's purely discipline. Motivation comes and goes. Discipline, and this is it. And then when you get to the 10,000 hours plus, then it gets again really interesting. Then there's motivation because you can do like interesting things, because you're now professional and you do like unique things in the world, and like it's interesting. Before that, it's like gradually and do it. So let's add the nullables, which I need here. Now datetime, it doesn't need. That one has the problem with the DT. Where is it? inconsistent naming abbreviation list. Do I need anything else? Player 1, 2, last saved. The cease game over comes from here. I think this is it, hopefully. And then I have this I collection of state history, which can be a null, which is a state histories. And in the state history, what did you do in your history table? Like I have this probably, I need primary key. No. Then I have this string, let's call it the state. And I need probably the date time, yeah? What else do I need? What do you give in your history table?
Maybe players move, like
Who will do the next move? It depends. Depends where do I keep it? Do I serialize it into the state? So is everything there in the JSON, or do I only keep the board in the JSON here, and everything else has to be kept outside of the board? Let's see what I do here. Where's my game brain? Brain. Okay, those player types I have saved onto the game itself. Player names are purely for the visualization. That this isn't part of the game brain. And then yes, I need this next move by. Theoretically, this has to be somewhere. So otherwise, if I restore the game, I don't know who will make the next move. Although in this game, I actually can calculate it from the board if I really want to, because I can count like the X's and Y's and see if they are equal. Okay, then it's unclear who will make the next move. If they are not equal, then it's clear who will make the next move. So okay, if I keep it on the history, then it's then I need this E player type, the next move by. Oh no, I need the other one. No, I need basically this E player symbol, so I can then restore who is making the next move. Okay, then I can just stay the board and nothing else. So next move by. And this definitely references the save game. Let's hope it's all. Okay, so now I can scaffold my database. Where is my some kind of README? No, solution items is empty. Where is it? Did you do it in the XM demonstration last time, I think? Yep, there is README. So now I can create my database. Let's hope. So I got my migrations. Hopefully everything is okay. So let's run it. And that one went okay. Okay, let's actually probably need to do it again. Let's do the README here also. So I have my save game and state history. Save games. And this is the state histories. No. What it's called? Yep, state histories. Oh, and my initial migration is empty because I didn't do any DB sets. So my database doesn't reference anything. So probably I need to do the migrations again. Edit, delete. So let's add the DB sets also. And now I need to drop my database, I think. Okay, I got my database and I can now update it. Hopefully now it's a little bit better database. Yep, at least now I have those two labels. Okay, player X name is unlimited length. This is not nice. So let's say it at least has some kind of length. And state history doesn't have any limits on the state. All right. So now I can scaffold my web pages. Save game should be okay. Just 2 commands. Oh, what did I do now? No, should be okay. Save games. Create. Okay, and state history is here. So everything was done. Now I can make those visual in the layout. So this is the save games. And this is the state histories. Yeah, let's see, will it work? Save image. Create new. Okay, now I have like a bunch of problems here that I need to fix somewhere, but not actually, probably not actually here. So let's see, what did I fix last time? So this form group needs to be added. Otherwise, our site is looking ugly. So this adds some spacing, and everything else needs to be fixed in the code. So in the save games create, let's see that one. Yep, it makes a select list, ASP4, but there's no select list items. Do you remember how to create a select list from the enum? I think it was on the, not on the slides, but on the materials now. So there was a HTML, there was a HTML helper for, I mean, if you want to do an enum thing. So there was this player type, so it went probably something like this, ASP items, and there's HTML get enum select list. Then it's e player type. The same thing here. Those are just the strings. And this is the form check. Input, form check input. No. There was some kind of thing, I remember. What was with the check? There was something with the checkboxes which changed in the Bootstrap. Let's see, documents, forms, select. So select has to have this class form select. That one first. Yep, that one is form select. Form select. And maybe checkbox is maybe okay. Okay, now I have my nice drop down, human, computer. Piece game over is nice. State histories. Here. Next move by. Okay, save game ID is wrong. Next move by. Blah, blah. Those should be drop downs at least. So this one has the ePlayer type. Oh, it should be okay. No, it's not human computer. Next move by is different thing. What? E-player symbol. Okay, now we get to the meat of things. So what shall I do now? So I have my game table defined, scaffolded the pages for it, although there is nothing to do with those scaffolded pages actually. Okay, we can use those as a starting point, let's say. But this is it. I had my game brain more or less. Everything seems to be the pieces, moving pieces are there, and now we actually need to figure out like this is the preparation stage, yeah? And now we actually get to the kind of like the main point that how can we support multiple games in parallel, and what is going on with those. So let's try to figure it out. All right, let's take a 10-minute break. Let's take 5-minute break. I want to program more, so I'll go grab a coffee and come back down immediately. No chit chat. Fast. More code. nii, üldiselt ma olen lihtsalt kõige muule aru saanud, et mul on kohvi vaja selleks, et see külmaks siin laua peal läheks. Et ma võtan 2 lonksu ja siis ma rohkem ei pane tähele seda. Nii, all right, so let's continue. We need to figure out what this thing does and how do we support those multiplayers, and actually is my game brain any good enough actually to do anything. So all right, so we have in the UI terms, we have something like this new game, and then we have like the old games, and blah blah blah. Here we have the list of games, and here we have the continue or view, yeah, depending on the what was the status of the game. So the main thing is here, the new game. So when we make the new game, we need to, in this context, ask first for the names of the players, types of the players, before we start the game. and probably who is making the first move. And then we can kind of start the game. And we want to support. Several games in parallel, plus the players do not share the computer. Yeah.
Yes.
They want to use different browsers or be in like different geographical locations. Okay, so let's go step by step. This means that new game. Make it this one shorter. This was clear. Here was this view or continue. Okay, when we make the new game, it has the name, type, same thing again, and then like okay, now we need to figure out if I start the first new game, the person who creates the game, is he a player automatically? Like in most cases should be probably. Okay, so then we can ask like let's say your name. Where's the second player coming from? So if it's computer, then it's clear. If it's not a computer, if it's human, then we don't ask. Then we don't ask the name. And now there is a question. Okay, so now we need to figure out this. If I load the list of all games, which games can I continue?
There is only one player.
Where there is only one player, so you can join as a second player. What shall I do in that case if I'm the player, the first player? So I want to join my own old game. How can I identify those games where I started a new game? So I need some kind of like user ID, seems to me. That I need to identify users by something. Like we don't have the login system here, so we can't use that one. That's for the next semester, where we deal with the whole identity and users and groups and stuff like that. What we have, we can do some kind of like nickname. So basically, what this thing actually needs in the beginning seems to me that we need to identify the user first before anything else happens. So we need to get some kind of like user ID from the system. Okay, so we need to deal with that one first, because then we know who the user is, and then you can either join a game where you are not a member yet, but which has one empty slot. Then you can join that one. Or you can continue the game where you are already a member. And probably in this list, we can even say that the games which has 2 players and where you are not a member should not be listed even here. Like you shouldn't see somebody else's game if you cannot do anything with those. Like we have, like let's say we have like millions of players in our server with trillions of games. What shall be listed here in the front page if I go and see like show me the saved games or show me the possible games I can do something with? Probably I shouldn't even see the games where there are 2 players, which both where I am my not member or where I cannot even join. Okay, so it seems that this we can either do some kind of like abstraction on top of it and actually create the user system. But basically this player X name and player O name, this one is like the user ID, like has to be matched some kind of like nickname. So so before I can do anything, I actually should ask for the user nickname here. So get the user ID, then we know who it is. And what can he actually see? So right, let's do it. So this means that we have this index page. So welcome to TikTok2. And not even welcome, it's just a TikTok2. And then we need to ask, I don't know, text center is probably not right for us. We are kind of like lefties. And then I need to ask for the username, and then I need to actually save the username somewhere. No, this is kind of like browser instance specific. So if I open up the new page again, I need to see that are you logged in or not. So there's like I need to keep of it somewhere in the browser itself. So there are two ways initially, like easier for you to understand. One thing is I can save it as a query string, so the URL has the nickname all the time. That's one way, and probably the second way is to save it into or in parallel save it into the cookies, and then load it back from the cookie that what's the nickname what you have specified. So let's make a form for it. So we have the onGet. Probably we need to do the onPost also here. Or actually not, we can do everything get-based like easily. So let's call it a username. And then let's add it here. Or I can actually make it bind. What it was, bind property, supports get equals true. So if I want to, typically the bind property only works with the post. If I want to make it work also on the get, if I don't want to add here this parameter string username, then I can say here that bind property and supports get is true. So it actually saves the value here into the username for me. And now I have this, so this index model. This is basically our view model. So this is the DTO in some sense. It also has some code, but it's actually a view model. So it's basically DTO between our application and the view engine. So let's make a form. And it's easier just to copy everything. How do I make a form here? I make just a copy out of everything. So there is only one thing. We have that's the username. Okay. The username is required. Okay, this initially at the get with the get. So probably we can make it with the post. Oh no, we can do it, say that this is the, can be optional. Doesn't work. Oh, it tries to do the post. we wanted to do just a get. Yep, and now it comes here, username, blah, blah, blah. So now the question is, where shall I kind of like save it and kind of like access it globally everywhere, figure out that what the username is. So one way is exactly that I will add it to all the URLs all the time. So even if I click here, like save games or start a new game, the URLs should have this query string variable all the time, like hanging around. So now the question is, either I will like manually modify those URLs somehow, but in the here when I am in the template, where is my layout? Shared layout. So actually I need to do here save games. Let's say this is our like the initial entry point, or like the next entry point. So I already need to actually check here that let's call it the games. I actually need the username here already. So one way how to get access to it is probably I can try to get it out from the cookies somehow. If there is one, let's say ASP.NET cookies. It's actually ASP.NET Core for that. How to work with cookies? How many ads underneath? No. What the hell? Huh? Clear our cookies. Has to be simple. Get cookie. Request cookies, or it's all request cookies. No. How can I access the request in the layout? What can I even access here? HTML. Oh, I have context here. So context should have this request. Yes. And this is our, let's say, username.
What is context?
Context is that's basically it's a web server reference instance. Web server instance is maybe the easiest way how to think about it. Context is really kind of like overloaded term. What actually context means, like our surrounding. So what is our kind of like surrounding? So we are in the class context, and then we are inside the school context, then we are inside the university context, then it's, I don't know, city context, and blah, 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 blah. So it's kind of like overloaded term. What does it actually mean? But here it is HTTP context, which are like actual class type. So this is basically our like, we have those request, response, all those things here accessible. So we have this username now, which might be a null actually. So it's nullable string. So now we can do something like this, that if this is null, then don't show the menu. Sorry, not null. And probably state history is not visible at all. And then when we actually get the username, so this is on the index page post. Where are you? Or on the get, when we actually have the username value. So now we can actually first we can try to load it. So let's see. Let's try this username from cookie. If username equals null. If you don't have anything from the get, so if there is no query string, yeah, then this username will be null. So there's no binding happening, or it was binded against empty string, and we don't have empty string, so it will be null. So if this username is null, if you didn't get any get parameter, then we can just say that the username is equal to the username from cookie, and then we use the one that we had in the cookie. And in the other case, if the username was not null, so somebody changed the username or clicked submit on the form, so then we get the new username here. Then we need to actually save it into the cookie. So then it's response cookies append. So the key is the username. Value is whatever the username is. And then there are some kind of options. What are the options? New cookie options, and we need the expire. And probably I don't care, so I can just say as an option. Okay, maybe the expire time is kind of like, I know has value, so it doesn't expire never ever. Yep. So just use empty options. So let's see, will this work? So initially I have no, and the menu is gone from here, so I can't see the save games. So let's say I'm Akaver. No, it's loaded, and do I need to do the refresh? Yes. So I need to do the second load also, because I created the cookie, but the cookie was created when the page was loaded. So then the cookie there was no cookie yet.
Just redirect.
Yeah, I can make a redirect. So I can do something like this. So it's if I want to do the redirect from here, then I need to do this action result. I think this was return the page is the standard. If we load, and from here, if we set the cookie, then we need to do from return redirect to page. Like this, I think. Let's try again. So now I already have the username. So now I need to go and delete the cookie. Application, cookies. Username is here. So let's delete that one. So I don't have the username. The menu is gone. Time for it. Create. Yep. And now I have the games. So it did the redirect, set up the cookie, loaded the page, and actually didn't load the page, just returned the redirect result, and browser reloaded the page once again. So it actually made like 2 round trips. So now I have this. Now I have the username accessible for me all the time. Okay, so now I can also say that that when the new game starts, or when I create the game, either I'm the one of the players, and I mean, I always have to be one of the players. There's only one case when I'm not one of the players, then it's computer against a computer. And what's the point of computer against a computer game even? I mean, like, do we want to kind of like slowly visualize it, how computer slowly plays against like itself? Or is it just like create game and then it's over immediately? Like, because it takes like milliseconds to like make a random moves 9 pieces and like it's over. So maybe we can even say that like there is no computer against computer game, at least initially. So maybe we'll figure out somehow it later. Maybe we can do like slow animations, like reload the page, like make one move, next move. So if you go here into the, let's say, save games, create, index. So this is our tic-tac-toe. And this one here is not the create new, but start new game. So what will the start new game be like? Player X, player O. So let's human computer. Human. Okay. And actually this, I can see I have one mistake in my database. This one has to be a nullable, because when we create a new game, we don't have any save games yet. So I can't write anything like useful here. So it has to have the null value. And everything else is probably okay. So let's do the grade. So last save date time, we don't even ask for it. Let's say player X name, player O name. So theoretically, how should this one look like? Like I start a new game, I have my username. So I can now choose which one I will be. Like, will I be the X or O, yeah? Like this is kind of like bad user interface here. Like, do I start with something like this? Like I will play against myself initially, and if I want to like invite somebody into my game, then leave it as an empty. And playing against myself is also kind of like pointless. So I probably need a better UI here, or better user experience. And player, so I need to do a totally different UI. So let's add a new page here. I will write a new one from the scratch. So let's call it new game. I definitely need my database, so I can grab that one from here. So what data do I need? I need this. Let's go here. I need the type for the other, I need, so first I need what? I need to choose which side will I play on. Do I will be X or O's? And then I need to choose who will play against me, like a human or a computer. If it's a human, then I need to wait till somebody else will join. And if it's computer, then I can play against artificial intelligence somehow. So basically, there's only those two choices, and this is it, what I can choose. So I have this, basically this E player symbol. What I need to get. User choice. And I need the import for it. And this was our bind property. And then I need what was E player type, yeah. Other player type, which is also a bind property, like this. Like choose X or O, and then choose who will be your opponent. So I can now grab from here this code block, the player type. And I actually need a form also. And so this one is a start a new game. User symbol choice, yeah. Oh. And then I need what player type and the first one was wasn't the player type, was player symbol. So this is the player symbol. And then I need the other one, which was the player type. Other player type. And probably I would be nice to write out who I am. No, it's not index. It was in the home page, but I'm in the layout. Okay, here it should be just request. Yes. And you can see how the context changes there. So here I don't have the context. So the context here actually is kind of like the context is the page itself. And page already has the request object. So if you go here into this class, new game, page model has this request object. But if you're in the layout, then layout is not part of any page. So layout is part of kind of like the web server. So there we have this kind of like variable called context. So I have my username actually here for sure, which means that I can now write it out here. Hello, username, start a new game. So let's see, what will this do? Games, start a new game. Oh no, the link is wrong. It's here on the index. It's the new game. User symbol choice, X or O, and to whom, against whom I'm playing. Is it a human or is it a computer? Okay, so those kind of like labels definitely need to be a little bit better, but this is a separate issue. And I think where's my layout again? Shared. Append version is here. Didn't I create this form group? Why is it so? I know it's okay, spacing is here. And now when I click start a new game, something like useful should happen. Like, how do I start a new game? Where is it? So now I need to do the on post. And it's actually on post async. If I want to be nice about it, it's async task. So var game equals new. What did we call it? Save game, eh? Because now we actually create the new game. So depending what was the user symbol choice. And I actually need also first this var username equals request cookies. So now I have the username. So which user is it? Is it the X user or the O user? So that one I get from this user symbol choice. So if user symbol choice equals O, then I can say that game.player O name equals our username. And I know that this one is definitely existing, or should be at least. And game.player O type is always human. And the other one stays basically empty. And then if this is an X, then player X name is actually this. And then we have the other player type, which means that game player X type equals what? Where's the type? So this other player type. And here it's the O. And actually now I also can set up the name for it. So if it's the computer, what's the name? So if other player type equals computer, So then you can use some kind of like fixed name for it. Let's call it the computer. And same here. If this other player type, then player, and now it's just player O name. Context save games dot add our game. Await context dot save changes async. And actually, what shall happen now? If I create a new game, basically I can kick you back into the index, yeah? Or actually, you should probably make a first move now. Whichever, like, is it? What shall happen here? If I create a new game, like I want to play a tic-tac-toe, I want to be a X, and I want to play against the other human. Then it shall go and the other player type. And now the question is, who will be the, okay, shall I make the first move?
Should wait for the second player.
No, but if
we should make the move.
We should make the move and then wait if I'm the starter. So the question is, who will start now? So let.
If you make the game.
No, but maybe I want to start the game and be the okay.
Then you can join the game.
But I always want to be the second. Like this, those are my kids. Like Dad, let's play this game, but you make the first move. Like they want to initialize the game, but they don't want to make the first move. Let's see, what did we have the save game? Is game over? Like there is no, we don't specify anything here in the save game itself. So the who makes the first move is not clear. It is here in the state history, like next move by, but we don't have the history yet. So basically anybody can make the first move. So we can keep it like this. But this means that now I need to, when this thing gets created, so I save the game, and now I can just not return to the page. But let's try to do the minimum viable product. So return redirect to page, and I actually want to redirect it to the index, into this save games index. So let's see, will this work? So games, start a new game. Okay, X, other player type, let's say is computer, start a new game. Oh, okay, my database was changed, that's true. So let's drop the database first. Drop. Oh no, initial is there. Stop. Migrations, let's delete that one. And update. And let's run it again. Okay, games. start a new game. I want to play against the computer, start a new game. Yes. This is my game against somebody. Player X type is human. Okay, I'm the human. Player O type is a computer. So let's start another one. I want to be an O and play against a human. Into value, into player X name. Okay, empty is not allowed. So let's fix that one. So my model is not correct totally. Where is this? Save game. So actually this is a nullable string. So I might not have a value. Let's run it. Games, start anew. Yes, Akaver against human and doesn't have the name yet, so it's not joint game. So it's basically waiting for somebody. Okay, so now we can go back to the index, save games index. Let's move our stuff around a little bit. So it's player name and player type. And the same here. I want to have the player name and the player type. Okay, what shall I do now? So last save date time has no value. So there's nothing done yet. So basically the game hasn't started. So now the question is, we have two cases possible here. Actually three, but initially two, like human against the human, human against the computer. So if it's human against a human, then and I'm the one of the members here. So first we can fix that one. So save games, we actually want to limit the stuff here. What kind of games do we will show here? So it's a game g.player O name equals with something, or g.player X name equals with something, and we need the player name. No, it's in the new game. So we need this username. So we are only showing the save games where either at least one of the players is you. Okay, but this is the case anyhow initially. So now I can, so here I'm waiting for somebody to join. So let's take the human case first. So I'm waiting somebody to join. Yeah? I cannot join here because I'm already a member here. So now the only thing I can do here is make a move. So I can start the game, basically make the first move. And now comes basically the answer to your questions. Like I have my game ID in my database. So the game is created, I have an ID for the game. So now all the operations I do, so I have my username and I have the game ID. And this is all I basically need to kind of like support unlimited number of games. So we start with that one. Let's make a first move, yeah? So in the index here, somewhere, we have this case, like, where shall we visualize it even? So let's visualize it here. So we can do something like this. If and we need our username. So we know that we are already, so we only list those games here where I am member, yeah? So now I need to only check that if, and probably it's useful to make it, show it after the username, because I can force it. The other case here is that I want the computer to make the first move, yeah? So both games are unstarted. I can be either player X or player O. How can I force the computer to make the move? So I should have some kind of like link here, like make first move. So let's not write it here. Let's write it actually here. So if item player X name equals to the username, if this is us, and item dot last save date time equals null, so we don't have any moves yet. So this is the first case, or first, there's no moves yet. So then let's make a link here, some kind of a, let's say start, or I know, first move. If this is us, or, and we have one more case here actually. This is the special case. When it is a computer. Then make a first move. And the same with the other player. Oh no, not here. Player O name. Something like this, I think. So I need to make a first move. I just don't have it yet. Yep, first move. And here I don't have first move because I don't have name yet. And there's only like 2 allowed names. Either it's my name or a computer. There's nothing else. So let's put this one into the parentheses. And it doesn't allow it like this. So this is the ASP page. Let's call it the make move. So when I make a move, what do I need? So I need this ASP route, say game ID, which is our item.id. What else do I need? That one I already have because I have the username stored in the cookie. That one I have. And then I need, and I already have your type from the database. That one is saved there, that you are either X or O, or you are the computer, you are either human or computer, and you are either X or O. And if you get into the make a move page, then basically I have everything. I only need this game ID. With the game ID and the username, I have all. So the only thing I need to think about a little bit are the kind of like conflicting edge cases. So if we have two humans, both have joined the games. So now they both will happen this, like here is the other like human name. It's not me, so I have this first move click here. You have the same thing here. We both click it at the same time. We go to the make a move page, and then we try to make the first move at the same time. So how can I understand like which one shall now actually make the move? Like I need to verify it with my game brain that is it actually possible to make the move? So if, but this is quite an easy to actually solve, because if there is no game state yet, if there is no save game happened behind the scenes, then I am allowed to make my first move. And if it's not, so there is already existing state, I need to load the state, try to make the move, and then my game brain needs to verify that is it actually possible. And my game brain has this next move by, so it actually can verify that what the hell is going on. And I can basically I can count the X's and O's in the game board. Like there cannot be like two more X's than O's. One is allowed, like difference, they can be equal amount of X's or O's, or one bigger than the other one, but not more. Yep, it is so. Like there is an X, like there is like no O's. So this cannot happen. I cannot have two X's and 0 O's. Now I have to have this O, and now I can have X and X. So now it's the one X more than O's, but I cannot have X, which has one no, because now the difference is 2. So I can make like all kinds of verifications. Okay, so this seems to be all right. So I need just this game ID on my make a move. So this is integer game ID. I also need my database because I need to load everything. I also need my username probably. Can I make it global? Oh no, request is not here, I think, or is it? Yeah, non-static, cannot do it here. But I can definitely do it. Private string username, I can definitely do it here. And I can even say that D is read-only. So I can set it up just in constructor. So it's both there in get and post. And if I have the game ID, this means that I can now load my game. Save games. Now I want to get histories also. And I want to do the first, or let's do the first async. So this has to be a wait, and now this one is async task. Let's call it an iAction result. And now I actually have my game with my state histories, if there are any. And now I can decide what to do with those. Basically, what shall I do now? We are making a move. I have no idea, is it the first one or not the first one? Doesn't actually matter. So I have my username, I have my game. Theoretically, I have my last state, if there is any. So I can check this state histories array. So I can either order now via this, I can do something like this here. Order by, yep, I need this descending. State histories. I know I cannot order it here. I need to do this way. So var state, let's do this. State equals now game dot state histories. Order by descending. This is the history. Data name. First or default. Because this might be null. There might be no state histories yet. So that one is definitely now here, but it might be empty. So I have my game and I have my latest state, like final state, the last one. Basically, I need now to draw a board, I think. I need now draw a board, 9 by 9 squares, like table, draw it out, and then when the user clicks on it somewhere, this is your like kind of like place where to make the move. And the other option is like if I'm the computer, then I need to skip the drawing part because move is already made. I can like make a random choice and put it somewhere and basically jump over to the on post immediately and say that hey, the page is the move is made and now the other player has to make it.
Should we initialize the brain game like every time we restart the page, or
every time when you load the page. So here in the onCat, now I have the state and the game. So to draw up the board, I need to get the board like layout. But here this state has only the JSON string. So I need to anyhow deserialize the JSON string, create the array out of the JSON string, and this is only possible inside the game brain. So game brain knows how to do it and set everything back correctly. So I need to anyhow do this here now. So let's see, somewhere here, which I need to access it in the model. So this means that I need to have here this private read only. What is a brain? So this is our brain. This needs to be initialized somewhere. So this means that here I can now say that brain equals new brain. But now I need to figure out how do I initialize the brain? Because initially I only have here what player types. So who is the first X player and O player? Okay, let's set those up. So those I have from the game. So this is the player X type. And this isn't read-only anymore because I need to initialize it. So now I have my brain, which has player types configured. And everything else is kind of like brand new. So game board was initialized to the empty, and next move by is by player X, like fixed inside the brain, which actually isn't the truth. So now I need to do something like this: brain dot. So let's do this. If my state is not null, then brain dot restore brain state from the state dot state. So this is the JSON string. So please restore whatever was there on the board and whatever else is there in the JSON. We don't actually have the JSON. We don't generate it normally. We have to figure out what there is, but hopefully everything goes correctly here. So now we don't have who has. Now we need to figure out what to do with the decision who will make the move, because actually both sides can happen now. Either X makes the first move or the O makes, because we have two humans. Game board is empty, so basically, who clicks first will win, yeah, or not win, but he will make the first move. Who will click first? So in any case, if there is move already made, then we already have it here on the board. If it isn't made, then it's the brain state will be empty in that sense that there will be empty board. So we can anyhow draw it out on the screen. We have what? 12 minutes, yeah? And the brain, I think, is the brain accessible or is it not? Can I do here? No, private variables are not visible here, so this one has to be a public. And then it cannot be a brain anymore. What's wrong with this? No. And this is also actually public. If I really want to, then I can access it in the model or in the HTML part. So I can write here hello user as a model.username. Make a move. And now I need to drop the board. Can I have a force cycle here? No. Ah, okay, like this. Oh, nice. So first we go by the Y's. And this is by the X's. Table, let's say what is border equals 1, let it be, although it's not supported anymore. So here we have one row. And here we have the TDs. And here we have the, what it is now. This is the model.brain.getPort X, Y, and I actually have to do it inside the parentheses. What? Oh, there is an and missing here. Move. So this can be circle, cross, or empty. So let's make a function auto for it. Section. What was it? No. No. Remind me. How can I declare functions here? It was definitely somewhere on the slides. It isn't the section. No. No, it's not the sections. Kärvan. Ma tahan funktsiooni defineerida siin. Ma tahan meetodit kirjutada. Ma olen Razor Pagesis. No kuulge. How do I define a method in the Razor? Functions. Ongi lihtsalt functions. Yep, functions. See on okei tava, kui sa teed UI-d. Kui see on puhtalt UI funktsioon, string get port state symbol. And this is based on the whatever is this thing returning to us. Square state. So I need a reference to it. So if this one equals to the circle, I will do the simplest cases first. Return O, and this is it. If state.move equals cross, and otherwise it's an empty string. Sest mul on seal igast muid asju veel vaja teha. See ei ole üldse niisama lihtne tegelikult lõpuks. Ma pean seal ka välja mõtlema, kuidas ma neid jooni hakkan tõmbama. First move. Pew! What? Username equals request cookies username. How is this possible? Show me the money. Where's my application? There is username. So, how can this fail? Request cookies. Oh, in the context, yes, there isn't. Yep, I need to do it here. and it isn't read-only. In the constructor, when the class is created, there is no, when this Razor page is actually created, when the class is initialized, then it's too soon. There is no regress yet. So let's go back here. Hello, cover, make a move. What's this? Is this my table? Yep, it is my table. So I probably need to do a little bit better here. So this is more likely NBSP, like this. Oh no, then it's it needs to be this, just a space. Okay, I have 4 means. No, still. Why? Okay, because it doesn't take any size. So let's put it here, this some kind of symbol. Okay. Border word 1. So I need to do something like this. TD style min height. Let's say, I don't know, 32 pixels. Min, what the hell? And not even min height, but just height. A little bit better. But why do I have border 1? But why don't I have the rest of the borders? What is this? Border, let's make I want to have black border. No. What? Do I need some kind of like border? Border width?
Border, then width, then solid.
Solid should be default, I think. What's now? Sure. Can be replaced. Border 2 pixels. Okay. You should know it. You have the HTML course, or had. You didn't have. You think you have. No? What the hell? Solid also. Doesn't. I think there doesn't matter which order. Yes, now, finally. So basically now start to make a move. And now comes the little bit yet more complex part, that we have the username, we have the game ID, you have the latest port state, whatever was currently latest. And now you can click on it, or make on your ship board, you can make a move. Now the question is that, so here we have the problem that, is it my time to move? Because we didn't fix who will start. So basically both players can start, or both players can make the first move at the same time. So it's the race condition, who will be there first. So now when I click here, and I know that I don't, basically what I do know is this, that the board is empty. And why do I know that the board is empty? Because the last saved date time is basically null, yeah? And the list is empty. So I can grab the keep track of this last saved date time. I have the timestamp for last save. Actually, I had it in two places, both in the save game and in the game states. So now I can basically verify that hey, this date time I had is still the last in the database. I can go into database and ask, is there a newer one than the date time that I have now currently in my hand? And then verify that there isn't actually any new states. Or I can even keep track of this one here. Let's go here. So this state here, this is a database entry. I have the ID for it. So now I can, when I come from the post with the new coordinates, like let's make a move into the XY position, yeah, into the, I don't know, square 0, 0, or in the 1, 1 into the middle of the screen, in the middle of the board. I can then ask that, hey, what is the load back the game with the state histories? And I need to keep track of what's the previous ID for the state. If this one is still the latest, then it's okay to make the move. If this is not latest, then somebody has actually added a new state into the database, probably the other player. So it's not I'm not allowed to make the move anymore because maybe I will hit the same place that somebody else already has the move. And I even cannot kind of like decide where to make the move because I haven't seen the board. So this is just from the viewpoint of the programming, it's easy. Like it's more complex from the viewpoint of the logic, but hopefully you can think. So basically to pen and paper or in your head, what will happen? Because you have to go through all the states, like I have discussed now, like what happens if somebody else has made move? What happens if I make move to the where there is already somebody on the board, etc., etc., etc. So it's not that complex from the viewpoint of programming. It's more complex from the viewpoint that have you covered all the possible options? What can happen? Go try to program, for example, Toyota's, for example, is a good example. Take any car and try to program an ABS controller. And then think that once you are done with it, then the code and electronics will be frozen and 10 million pieces will be produced, yeah, and distributed. And then you will come one beautiful day and say, sorry, I made a mistake. We need to recall all those 10 million cars and replace the controllers with the newer software version. And then think how much it will cost. So it's quite an expensive thing. So as long as it is just a software in somewhere web server, then it's quite an easy like to test and replace. It's quite more complex in the case of hardware programming.
Can we continue this project next?
Yes, we can. So remind me, where did we stop? We stopped here. That so basically, let's write here. To do. Make a move. Solve. Who is starter conflicts.
about it.